Yes. Our next speaker, our final speaker before the CTF is Ademola Kelvin, and he will giving us like a hands-on practice with like Cairo syntax. Yesterday, the team spoke about like Stacknet and Cairo, but now you're just going to do like more of a practical session. So that's it. Also, wait. People that are leaving, wait. So we'll be done in like 15 minutes, and then Timmy Dan is just going to come up. So those people that are not after this session, if you are not participating in the CTF, you can go up to the main hall. And if you are participating, just stay here because of by 2 o'clock. Right now, everybody's just networking and talking, and there's nothing going on any other place. So by 2 o'clock, the contract will be deployed, and then the hacking can start. Starlink is available. You can connect. Yes, it is available. Oh, you can. Don't worry, you see it. It's just there. Okay. So you can do. Wi-Fi is open. Anyone can connect for hacking and everything. But Team Dan is coming very soon to just come and give you guys more information before we start. Are we okay? All right. All right.
Um, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, Ademola Kelvin, let's like this. So, shortly we'll just get introduced to Cairo. I know how many of us were present at yesterday's session talking about Stacknet and stuff. So we have an idea of what Stacknet is as an ecosystem, right? Okay. This was supposed to be an interactive session, but then I'll be fast with it. So, just as you know that Stacknet enables you to write is an L2, right, that helps scale Ethereum, right? So the architecture is somehow like different from Ethereum in the sense that there's an introduction of a new programming language, which is Cairo. How many of us are smart contract developers here? Okay, we know Solidity and stuff, right? So this talk is basically giving an overview of what Cairo is as a programming language, and then its structure basically, and how you can like get started as a Cairo developer. So briefly, why Cairo? Cairo is a language for writing provable programs. What do I mean by provable programs? Um, I don't know, maybe from yesterday you got to understand that when you want to like prove the validity of a transaction, right, on the Ethereum node, you need to sort of like re-execute those transactions. But then with Stacknet now, you have it such that you, with Cairo being a provable program, right, you can write programs, right, and then generates a proof for those programs. But then how does this sort of like occur? So that's what Cairo is basically. Cairo is a fostering complete language for writing provable programs. Okay. So to create provable programs and then a cryptographic proof generated alongside. Sorry, you can just meet me for like to know details about this. I'll go straight into the section directly. Uh, oh, I want to try and zoom in. I want to zoom in. Uh, Hold on. Sorry, minutes, please. Uh, this slide is just to like show you what the previous syntax was like before and what it is currently. So now, just as you know that for every programming language, there are data types, right? Are we following this? Yeah. So, and we know that the data type we have in Solidity and stuff like the Boolean, the signed and unsigned integers. But for Cairo, the data, so Cairo architecture is somehow like different from Solidity that we know, right? And everything you operate on in Cairo or Stacknet as an ecosystem is written in Felt, right? So we have Felt as the default data type, and then to enable the adoption of Cairo as a program, because writing programs in Felt is quite like difficult for developers, right? So there are sort of like abstraction to create new data types. So the new data types we have now, we have, can you please let me zoom in, please? Yeah. So you have felts, you have integers, you have boolean, you have short strings. So for now, Cairo doesn't really support long strings, support strings within the range of 31 characters. So, but there's always a work around when working with strings, basically. So you have enums, you have structs, array, tuples. Next slide, please. Yeah, can you please zoom in? I don't know if this is clear. It's not. Okay. Sorry. Let me just go to my repo. No. Ah, my internet is not connected. Please, sorry. I mean, please. So I just want to like show the codes for us since the slide is not that clear. All right. Now, so let's take a dig at the architecture of Cairo. So, sorry, I forgot to add. So, Cairo is a programming language on its own, right? And how does StackNet leverage on this? So, Cairo is not just limited at the contract level, right? You can use Cairo on a normal day, like to write normal programs such as computations of data structures or your normal day-to-day um, your normal day-to-day task. But then Stacknet leverages on Cairo by creating plugins, right? So this enables you to like write Stacknet contracts. So we have something when you're writing pure Cairo, you're doing something called Cairo programs. But when you're writing Stacknet contracts, when you're writing contract in Stacknet, it's called like the program is called Stacknet contract. So there's a difference between that. The difference is that when you're writing Stacknet contract, you have access to the blockchain state, that is the Stacknet state. But then when you're writing Cairo program, you don't have access to the state. So looking at the architecture, basically, right? You know that in Solidity, you have the first thing you define in your contract is you define pragma solidity, then the what do you call it, the compiler version. So to define that this module is a contract, right, you have to like use the please can you scroll down a bit? Yeah, you have to use this attribute stacknet contract. And then what is this jargons we are seeing here? Just as you know in Solidity, when you want to write a contract, you have contracts, then the identifier, the name of your contract, right? So every contract in stacknet is a module. I don't have like there's not enough time to get into like talking about modules and stuff now. So this is me basically specifying that I'm writing this. Okay, I want to like define a contract, right? And then this module is ERC20. So I want to like write an ERC20 contract. Now we know that. So this is me defining that this is a contract. Now, what are these import? These are basically imports. Now you know that in Solidity there are global variables exposed to you, the messages of sender, address these and stuff. So this is the mechanism in which it is being exposed in Stacknet. You have use contract to get the contract caller, the messages of sender in this case. You can also get the address of that contract in particular. Please scroll down. So right. Um, we come back to this. Can you please go to the contract? Go down, go down, go down. Yeah. So in Solidity, we write state variables and things like that. But then how do we define state variables in Cairo? State variables are basically like defined using the attribute storage, and then with the struct storage, then you define the parameters you want to use as your state variables: name, symbol, decimal, total supply, balance, allowance. These are basic things we are familiar with in Solidity, right? ERC20 token standard. We all know ERC20 token standard, right? Right. So this balance defines a mapping that maps a contract address, that maps an address type to a an unsigned uint 256 integer. So come down. Right. So basically, you know that I want to ask, like, what major actions can you like perform on the blockchain? Like, the generic actions you can perform on the blockchain, write and read, right? Correct. So, um, Cairo, this our new Cairo new syntax is Rust inspired. I don't know if anyone writes Rust here, so you can see that it's somehow like Rust-like, right? And what Rust gives you is the capability to like manage memory using the borrow checker feature, right? So we have same thing here in Rust, such that you have to explicitly define when you want to like write to storage and when you want to like read from storage. And how do you do that? So as you can see, this constructor specifies ref, self, contract state, and then the parameters you're passing in. But then what does this mean? You're basically telling the program that you want to be able to like mutate this you want to be able to like mutate the state here. I don't know, like people that know Rust will like have like an idea about what this is, right? But basically, you're saying you want to like be able to like mutate the state. So now you can write, you can do self. So self in this case now references your storage. Can you please go up? References this state variable. So self dot name dot write. You're writing to storage, right? And then you have self dot sorry please. Okay. Self dot symbol dot write. Self dot decimal dot self dot decimal dot write. So you're writing to the states now. So how do you read data to? So basically, to read data, you get a snapshot from your storage. That is where you specify this at keyword, right? So that's just like how you specify read and write. And this will be the question that what about function visibilities, external, view, pure, and the likes that we are familiar with in Solidity, right? Now, so the current syntax, you have to be explicit about specifying um, when your function is an external, when your function is external basically. So you write external functions using the implement using this implement keyword. um Sorry, please, can you go? This leads us to traits basically, right? Yeah. Sorry, I have to like go to on interfaces. We know the concept of interfaces in Solidity, right? So to define interfaces, right? Interfaces enables like to enable like intercontract interaction and interaction with external contracts, right? But then how do we do that? Because here we are not dealing with object-oriented programming paradigm, right? So we are able to like define interfaces, and these interfaces, right? When you define an interface either in Rust or in Cairo, you have to like specify an implementation for it. You know, when you define interface in Solidity, it doesn't contain the full logic. It's just the function definition and then the parameters that it's expecting. So we are defining the interface name here, and then defining the interface IRC20, the function spec here, and the things we need. Can you come down? Now, to implement the trait, we basically use the implement keyword. Then we implement IRC20 of super IRC. So what the super is doing now is the interface is defined in the contract module, right? So to reference it, that's where the super keyword sort of like comes in. Now, we want to implement the functions we define in the trait. Then you define function name. We are dealing with reading from the contracts now. So the ref keyword will not be specified because you're not writing to the state, right? So you specify function name, then you want to get a snapshot from storage. Then what data type are you expecting? You're expecting a field 252. Then you do self.name.read and things like that. So it's still basically the same. It's just a change of syntax. Please scroll down. Yeah. So how do we define events? Events are struct in Cairo. Just go up. Sorry. Up, up, up. Down a little bit. Yes, yes. Okay. So for ERC20 contracts, you have transfer events, you have approval events, right? Now, to define an event, you use the keyword events. Then it has to implement the derived drop stacknet event state attribute basically. Then you define enum, the event you want. So events transfer, then has to take name transfer to. So basically, every event you need here has to be specified in this enum. And how do you implement the scroll down a little bit, please? No, no, to the events. Yeah. No, no, no. Okay. Yeah. So this is how you define your transfer events. You have a struct. Then, as you know, it's expecting the sender, a recipient, and an amount, right? Then you specify the sender, which is a contract address here, recipient, which is contract address, and then the amount that you are expecting. Then this is how you sort of like fill in the struct. So to now emit the events now, right? So you reference self.emit event, remember your enum, then the struct here, then you specify the transfer, then you pass in the parameters that is needed, right? So any questions so far? We are lost. No one is following. Any questions so far? Yeah.
Two questions that I have. The first question is, state variables in Cairo, are they like defined to within a struct? Because I observed that it looks like that's what you are doing here. And the second question is, are there like libraries, like OZ libraries for like Cairo? No.
Yeah, yeah, right. There are libraries to start from that. There are libraries, but currently they are still work in progress, trying to like support the new syntax and how not like support the new syntax basically, but have a migration of the former contracts to the latest syntax. Do you get? So there are there's support for libraries basically, and to the first question, looking at this state variables, they are defined as struct. That's how you define state variables. Look, you can't. You can't. Because if you do that, even your contract won't compile to tell you that you have to like define the state variables storage. So if you don't define it, if you don't have any state variable at all, just define storage struct, then the keyword storage, leave it empty. Do you get? I want to go back to the slide. Yeah, so basically this is just like playing around with logics and things and other things. So back to the slide. So I just like gave like a bit about the architecture. You have defined contract, then the global imports, defining state variables, and also other things like that. Yeah. So a little bit about when you define interfaces in Cairo. It sort of like generates a dispatcher for you. And what do we mean by dispatcher? Dispatcher generates two kinds of dispatcher. You have the library dispatcher and then you have the contract dispatcher. So this dispatcher enables you to make external calls to other contracts. Do you get? So what toolings do we use? So the idea of this workshop initially was to have like hands-on code along session, have you guys install StackNet Foundry. So you've had a session on Foundry, right? Yeah, so Foundry is a native tool for writing Solidity smart contracts, but in StackNet ecosystem too, we have StackNet Foundry, and then you have Scab for writing smart contracts. So other toolings you have are StackNet Adapt plugins, DevNet, StackNet React for your front end, and other all these ones. This was supposed to like video session, sure, right? So just to kickstart your journey in StackNet, basically we organize online boot camps, right? And then there's a session coming up September 6th by Stackware itself, right? It's Basecamp, just everything about Stacknet, both the at the front end level and also at like the smart contract level, and how you sort of like have your contract to contract to front end interaction. So you can scan this QR code, right, and then register, because the registration closes, I think, very soon. So if you're not interested in writing Stacknet contracts, there are other ways you can like make contributions to the Stacknet ecosystem. We have projects actively going on, such as you have Madara, Kakarot, Berus, like a lot of projects. So you might want to like check the list of, okay, these are communities, right? So if you join these communities, you'll see projects that are currently being built. And also in the Stacknet Africa community, we have projects that we are building ourselves, so you can also like participate and help us contribute to that too. So these are lists of projects going on, and also ecosystem you can join. So your contributions will like mostly be appreciated using, like, you can contribute using Rust, Cairo, but if you're very, very, very good at Rust, you'll definitely like thrive in the ecosystem well. So to get started with Starknet contract, these are the resources you can use. You have a Cairo book that talks about Cairo as a language extensively. And then you have Stacknet book that talks about how you utilize Cairo as a programming language to write Stacknet contract. And then you have the Stacknet doc. And this guy's article is David Barreto is the Stackware developer advocate, right? So he writes content on Cairo, Stacknet. So to like have a dig about what the ecosystem is as entirely, you can like read his articles. They are beginner friendly. Next slide. Yeah, I think that is all. That is all. Do we have any question?
Right. You know that in normal solidity, I think event don't actually cause gas. Now in Cairo, since we are using struts for events, does it cause gas?
The question about gas, no would be my answer, because when you're consuming gas now, it's basically the let me use the word, the amount of logic that sort of like defines how much gas will be consumed. Take for instance when you're dealing with arrays, right? And you have a function that writes to the storage and try maybe writes to the storage basically, and then you're iterating on the array in storage. You know that it's going to like definitely cost you more. So it's not about the data type you use, but then more about like your amount of computations.
Thanks for the presentation. So say that I'm a Solidity developer, um, and maybe I don't know Rust, or Cairo seems it's a little bit more complicated, right? It's a little bit more difficult. I'm wondering, why is it worth investing? What can this do at a more like general level? Why is it worth learning about Cairo and about Starknet? What's the
To like to answer that first thing, I think for developers as a whole, we like exploring new things, right? So I think that should like be the first motivation. Another thing is, from my own perspective, Cairo ecosystem, no, Stacknet ecosystem is at a stage where Solidity was as far back as 2013-14, when Solidity was still like very, very young, right? So I know for a fact that Solidity had its own like learning curve, having updates being released continuously, and people couldn't like catch up. So learning about Cairo and Stacknet contract, I think would like help help you as a person, right? To get started in the Stacknet ecosystem, because we are still like very, very at the early stage right now, and also it's a way to like equip yourself with new skills, and the community is awesome. Yeah. Any other question? And also, most importantly, like writing provable programs. Provable programs, yes. So that is a wrap. So Sorry, to learn more about like the Stacknet Africa community, you can meet with Emmanuel. Is our lead, the Stacknet Africa team lead. So meet with him, talk with him, and how you can join the community. Thanks.